Hey there, crypto friends, checking in on the space. The Bitcoin bulls have had a big time move over the past couple of days. Last night we saw a whole bunch of volatility with a fast drop, a big bounce, and it happened again today. Let's see where we stand. Let's see where the altcoins stand in comparison, and let's establish some short-term game plans. So checking in on the S&P 500 first, the bulls are keeping complete control. Really nothing going on today in the S&P 500. There's a shuffle going on, but we know the bears aren't proving anything to us, which is what the Bitcoin bulls want to see, a strong market, and we've got a weak dollar. The dollar's trying to hold 92.13. That is still possible, but bears in control the last 5 days. So looking at these two sections of the market, that is ideal for the Bitcoin bulls to keep their control. So I will always have caution whenever I see everybody starting to look in one direction. After running the chart, guys, it's an automatic devil's advocate switch that flips in my head when everybody's looking in one direction. So as always, establish that you have a game plan, stick to that game plan, and it's possible that we reject from the all-time high here and consolidate for a month. The bulls have complete control still. There is no sign of that being the case, but again, we have to prepare for all possibilities. And you have to ask yourself, am I going to sit through monthly consolidation looking for a higher low before we get an all-time high? That being said, very easily could see a new all-time high before that happens. So in the short term, a couple things to go over. Number one, beautiful continuation. And this is the second time now where it has looked like a rising wedge has been forming. It looked like one at 14,000, and then it looked like one again around 16,000, and the bulls just keep breaking higher. The daily 12-period EMA is a great guide that keeps holding. In the last video, I talked about the 12-hour EMA 12 support, which is my guide on this current bull move for my swing position. And that is still easily holding as well. So cooling off some RSI levels in the short term, we saw a massive flush with a big surge up, and then a big drop down, and then a very big bounce. So we're really clearing out the order book here. As far as the move to 18,500, we then had a $1,300 drop and then a $1,000 bounce. So if you just keep doing this and ping-ponging back and forth, you're clearing out all the bids, you're clearing out all the asks, and things get very thinly traded, and we see a lot of volatility because of that. You don't have these big walls that are keeping the price contained. So on that big drop, the hourly RSI didn't even really get close to oversold. The 15-minute RSI got oversold, and it didn't last very long. That drop was really just 2 or 3 really big 5-minute candles, and then next thing you know, we're up $600 off that low. So this shows me continued buying of the dips. As long as that is the case, we know bulls keep full control. I said in the chat room with the chart guys the other day, when we see our first hourly oversold conditions that are not like all the last bounces, we know something has changed. So I said the next time we see an hourly bear flag, we know that it's going to be a different market environment. Let's say we drop down to hourly oversold, we try to bounce, we get no follow through, and then we drop to a lower low. Why would that be different? We'll just go back and look at history. Every single time the hourly RSI hits oversold on this bull move up since 10,000 essentially, we get V-shaped recoveries for the most part. So the next time, I should say the first time that does not happen, it should set off a little red flag in our brain that just says things are a little bit different. It's a shifting market environment. That's not the case at the moment, but that's something to be aware of. From there, we would then be watching for the first 4-hour oversold conditions if that were to take place. So bigger picture, woke up this morning, and this is the kind of scenario where you have to stick to your game plan. Because I saw this high and this low and this V-shaped bounce. And what is the most likely scenario there? An hourly lower high. So as we continue to butt our heads against 18,300 time and time and time again, I'm just sitting here watching this and knowing we're going to pull back and we're going to form an hourly equilibrium. And I have my long-term swing position and it's based off the 12-hour time frame, and I'm just sitting there saying, I want to sell this position. I know I can buy it back at least $300 cheaper, but I have to get that out of my head because that is not my game plan. And the last thing I want to do is exit my longer term swing position, and then the price runs away without me, and now I'm no longer in my position. So had to stomach sitting through that pullback, but the silver lining is I have cash for day trades that I have allocated, not in positions, and I was able to use that on this bounce. This was the absolute ideal bottom fishing play. I love oversold bounces. If you've been watching this channel in cryptocurrency for the last 3.5 years, you know that that is my bread and butter, and this was the ideal scenario. So what made this the ideal scenario? Number one, the support level, 17,200. We know that is the support level because that's the overnight low, and if that level were to have broken, that tells us shifting market environment. In addition to that, we had the 15-minute RSI in a waterfall, and that was down in the low 20s when we were at the low of this candle. The 5-minute RSI was the price was in a waterfall. 5-minute RSI got down into the teens. The 2-minute RSI, we were in an absolute waterfall, and that 2-minute RSI got to almost single digits. So absolutely, I am scaling into that weakness, and I had 4 positions allocated, and I would have entered, I was giving a lot of wiggle room. So my stop wasn't at $17,199. My stop was at $17,099. I'm giving $100 of wiggle room, and I'm scaling in. My first entry was in the upper 17,400s. My second entry was in the mid to upper 17,300s. And I would have entered one more if 17,200 broke, looking for that to potentially be a little climax bear break straight into a bounce. And I filled 2 orders. The bounce got going very quickly. I exited half of my position in the upper 17,500s. And as soon as I did that, my break even is now 17,300 or a little bit lower, and I'm extremely comfortable. We then just absolutely V-shaped bounced and went $800 with no 5-minute consolidation. So as soon as we continued to get bounce follow through, I said, all right, that's enough for me. I was going to hold looking for the hourly higher low, but I exited in the 17,800s, the second position, because it's only a day trade. And I know that if we are going to form an hourly equilibrium, that I've got my swing trade position that will benefit from that. So locked in all those gains, very nice day trade. And I was actually distracted because I was live streaming for the chart guys. I was in the middle of a stock trade, which coincidentally was NIO, and it was the exact same play. It was a bottom fishing play off of hourly support. And here was NIO, low of its earnings reaction. And this morning we bounced 5 pennies above it. So I was playing that hourly equilibrium bottom fishing play at the exact same time as I was doing it in Bitcoin. And both worked out well. So it's been a good day. So from here we have a 15-minute equilibrium forming. And I am viewing this as our low of the dump, high of the bounce, higher low, lower high, higher low, just double topped. And now we're looking at 17,720 support. If this 15-minute equilibrium breaks bullish, we are very confident the hourly higher low is set. And then we're looking back up at the 12,000, make that 18,300 resistance right here. And I would be watching for another lower high compared to that level to remain in this hourly equilibrium, potentially for a good bit longer into tonight. If this equilibrium breaks bearish, protective bulls that want a new stop level to be going off of and want to continue walking their stop loss up, if you're going off the 12-hour uptrend, you're still looking down at 15,700 as a stop level. If you want to move that up, a lot of people are going to now be using 17,200. So we can assume a number of things. If that level breaks, I would expect a little bit of a waterfall follow through as we see stop levels trigger. If that were to break, I would then expect daily consolidation to be underway, and we would then look for a daily higher low compared to 15,700. It could be a climax candle here. It's a high volume candle. You can see the other daily high volume candles have resulted in sideways consolidation, pullback consolidation, and this is a potential bearish reversal doji-like candle showing indecision, and there is a volume climax there. So I would not be surprised if we do end up seeing daily consolidation from here But again, we got space to work with, and we could pull back, 10% and be just at that daily EMA 12 on that 10% pullback from here. Not even 10% from the high. 10% from the high gives us space above that EMA 12. So overall, bulls are keeping control. We got a nice clear range to be watching. Bears are having a level to short off of. Bulls are having a level to buy the dips off of. And we'll see how it shapes up and how it breaks from here. Bulls definitely want to see this 15-minute equilibrium break bullish to create some more space so that even if we do top out compared to 18,300, there's space for another higher low. Bitcoin dominance chart is still all bulls. This is the 4-hour time frame. We broke the recent high of 66.58. We're seeing a potential 4-hour bull flag of consolidation. There are no red flags on this dominance chart, which means the Bitcoin bulls are continuing to keep their dominance, and it is not time to be going into altcoins. There are some altcoins that are performing well compared to Bitcoin, but it's very few and far between. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in just a minute about the Bitcoin pairings of altcoins and why they are more important than the US dollar pairings, because some people have some confusion with that, so we want to clear that up. ETH USD, again, looks like a potential climax kind of volume and candle here, and it is a rising resistance level on the 4-hour time frame that the bulls are struggling to get over. So look at all these rejections, and it was a rising wedge on the 4-hour time frame that already broke bearish, and this is now a back test and continued rejection. So that is the most important resistance line for me on ETH USD at this point. We have the same hourly time frame tightening up, high, low, lower high, higher low, scouting an hourly lower high compared to 483, and watching for this to tighten up over the next, potentially the next 8 hours plus. If it breaks bearish, the daily higher low is 439. We don't have as much space to work with, although it is pretty similar as far as percentage distance before the last little daily higher low. So hourly equilibrium is going to dictate short-term direction. ETH BTC is all bear. We had a daily bull flag confirmed. It looked like getting into ETH on that dip that happened here in the US dollar pairings was the way to go. Bull break with zero follow through means zoom out and look for a weekly bear flag. And as soon as that happened in these videos, I said, could this be a weekly bear flag? Absolutely possible. And we're now confirming that. We're not getting a whole lot of follow through at the moment, but it's a bear break. And we know that the altcoins are remaining weak comparative to Bitcoin. And this is a falling support line that has been hit 3 times. And if we do see bear follow through, that will be a little level to be watching. Can't fight the trend. Got to stick with these trends and be patient. There will be a turnaround, but there's no sign of it yet. Bitcoin is definitely getting all the attention. YFI USDT, bulls with a beautiful buying of the dip. Look at this 4-hour EMA 12 support. We had a 4-hour equilibrium break bullish with a ton of follow through. 4-hour higher low off EMA support. Another one, and here we are testing the high of 24,880. Bulls are keeping complete control as long as the 4-hour higher lows and the 4-hour EMA 12 supports remain. Look at this hourly equilibrium. That's a 20% pullback. That's a 10 to 15% bounce. Higher low bull break. Beautiful 4-hour equilibrium. Beautiful hourly equilibrium. Nice to see technical analysis working well. And this is the kind of play where you can scale in a couple entries, put your stop under 20,500, and obviously that would have worked out well. Bulls are continuing to buy dips in this space. That is what I'm watching for over the next however many days. How long do we continue to see aggressive dip buying from these bulls? So now let's talk about pairings. Look at Binance. If I'm looking at this US dollar pairing of Binance, there's no red flags. We're trading sideways, no biggie. A week and a half sideways, we're holding support of 2707. The weekly time frame still in a higher low uptrend in a tightening range, trying to set a weekly higher low, no sign of it. So if I'm in BNB and I'm looking at this chart, I'm saying, okay, I'm comfortable. I got my stop set and we're not dropping. If you look at BNB, BTC, it is just collapsing. So while you might not be losing any money in your US dollar position, this is telling you, hey, silly, you could be making way more money if the money that you have sitting in Binance doing nothing were in Bitcoin. So again, it's not necessarily that the US dollar pairing is not in an uptrend or is not holding gains all right. It's showing us where our money could be put to better use. It's essentially showing us opportunity cost. What's the opportunity cost if my money is sitting in sideways Binance while Bitcoin is surging higher? And the answer is, over the last 5 weeks, 40%. I missed out on 40% gains in Bitcoin because I was sitting stuck in Binance. So whenever I'm looking at these weak altcoins, whether it's Litecoin BTC, daily uptrend, trying to set a higher low, this weekly time frame has a ton of work to do. It is technically still just a weekly lower high at this point. Anything under 46.13, and we topped out at 45.30. XRP, same thing. XRP BTC. This bounce is extremely weak. So XRP USD, sure, it's gone up. Look at that big bull break. All right, gains. So if I'm holding XRP USD over the last 2 weeks, trying to find 14 bars here. That's only 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 2 weeks, currently, I would be up 22.5%. Nice gains. Nothing wrong with that. Making money, absolutely. But if I were in Bitcoin for that same period of time, I would be up 10% more right now. So again, it's not saying there aren't gains being made in these altcoin US dollar pairings. It's opportunity cost of where money would be better utilized elsewhere. And for me, I'm always just focusing on either Bitcoin or Ethereum, depending on whether it's a bullish altcoin environment or not. And because it has been not recently, my focus is mostly on Bitcoin. I do still have that ETH position from when I bought the dip, but I have more Bitcoin exposure at this point, and that's where my attention is at. I will shift my focus to these altcoins when we see convincing daily and weekly trend changes and follow through that show us a significant change. And most notably, I need the BTC dominance chart to lose the daily 12-period EMA. Hopefully they fix that candle to fix that EMA, but it has been holding for the last month plus. And I can make a simple statement. If that daily 12-period EMA keeps holding on the Bitcoin dominance chart, Bitcoin continues to be the place to be. All right, I hope you are all well. We'll see what this hourly equilibrium gives us in the short term. Stay protective. Avoid groupthink. You know, I see a lot of people on Twitter saying the move hasn't even started yet. And I look at this weekly chart and say, what are you talking about? This move has absolutely started, and it's been going for a month at this point. Can we keep going? Yes, but let's not be misleading. Do good things. See you next time.